When you're obsessed with wristwatches like I am, you often find yourself honing in on people's wrists to see what kind of watch they might be wearing. This is no different when you're watching TV or a movie or maybe catching a glimpse of a celebrity on screen. I'm always trying to identify what watch is on their wrist. And since wristwatches have become such a prominent part of my professional and personal life, it's not uncommon for my family members, my girlfriend, my friends to pester me, hey, what does that look like? Hey, what watch is he wearing? And all in all, it's just a very fun thing to do. It kind of just ingratiates me more into this hobby. And listen, if you're watching my channel right now, chances are you do the same thing. And you might be surprised to learn that when you look at a watch in TV or film and you can't identify it, it might not be because you don't know what watch that is. It's probably because that watch is just fake. And there's good reason for that. Let's go ahead and take a look at some fake watches in film. Shout out to wristenthusiast.com for compiling a really great write-up on this very topic. I'm gonna link that little expose in the description below. It is 1:18 p.m. Let's get down to business. So without going into too much detail, I used to work in Hollywood. And if there's one thing I know, it's that props departments love to spend money. But the amount of money each props department can spend varies greatly on the entire production's budget. Sometimes props are rented, but most of the time they are purchased. And for a props department to spend big money on like a 5-figure watch and then have to police that watch throughout the entirety of the film's production, it's just really not feasible and it's not very smart, especially when you factor in how many kind of moving parts there are when it comes to a film or media production and just how many people are on set at one time. It would be a headache. So with all of that said, it makes sense that a lot of watches you see in film and media are simply just replicas or they just don't exist at all. For instance, there's famously a very fake Rolex Daytona in Kill Bill Volume 2. This Rolex Cosmograph has the very rare date sub-register, which does not exist at all. There's another fake Rolex Daytona in the TV series Lost, where you can clearly see that the Rio is way too thick. And as you're watching that scene, you can see that the sub-registers are not functional. But at least those two examples are kind of crappy replicas of a watch that actually exists in real life. One of the most confusing fakes I've ever seen when it comes to wristwatches in media is in the movie Drive, where Ryan Gosling's character is wearing a Patek Philippe, but it's not even a replica of like a real Patek reference number. It's just some arbitrary watch design that they decided to put Patek Philippe on the dial. It's very weird. Similarly, in the 2014 film Non-Stop, there's another totally fake Patek Philippe that kind of looks like a high-end complicated watch, but again, it's not really a replica of any recognizable Patek reference number. In the satirical film Don't Look Up, Jonah Hill's character is seen wearing a very expensive Richard Mille RM052 Skull Tourbillon. Now this is a hyper-limited Richard Mille, limited to 21 units, and each piece costs well over $600,000. So for a props department to shell out that much money for a kind of insignificant accessory for a character, it's not likely, and it's very, very doubtful that Richard Mille would have an example to give to the production to film. Now online, other watch enthusiasts say that they can tell it is fake. I'm just going by the numbers, and it seems very, very unlikely that this would be an authentic Richard Mille. So I'm gonna go ahead and add it to this list. And finally, as a little bonus, in one of my all-time favorite animes, Yu Yu Hakusho, the main villain, this kind of mafiosa boss, his name's Sakyo. He's a very sophisticated, kind of soft-spoken bad guy. There's a scene where it focuses on his wrist and he's wearing a very, very rare left-hand crown gold Rolex, which again doesn't really exist in real life. it was very ahead of its time because it wasn't until like last year, 2023, I think, that Rolex made that left-hand GMT Master 2. But there you have it, guys. It is very fun to kind of play that game trying to identify what watch that character is wearing. And sometimes, like in John Wick, you can see he's wearing a Carl F. Booker Monero Date, a watch that I own and have done a review on. But just remember, 9 times out of 10, when you're watching a movie or a TV show, it's all fictional, even the watches themselves. But if you yourself are not interested in these fictional watches and you're more interested in attaining more of the authentic varieties, check out thetimetellershop.com. It's the #1 place to find affordable vintage luxury watches. We also have some new offerings over there, and everything that's sold is handpicked by me, so check it out. I'll leave a link in the description below. Use coupon code COLLECTOR at checkout and save yourself some money. Alright guys, stay happy, stay healthy, stay blessed. I'm Jory Goodman, the Time Teller, and always remember, I didn't invent time. I just tell it.